Welcome back to the Pach-Attack. Okay, from the forums, from Warren EBB. Why doesn't Valve charge a yearly multiplayer free? Aren't they maintaining servers and customer support? Look, Valve's really good at making money, so I wouldn't worry about them at all. If the game has microtransactions, that's how they're paying for it. That's like asking why League of Legends doesn't charge a multiplayer fee. Same exact thing. I mean, you get enough players playing multiplayer and you get enough virtual transactions, then don't worry about it. But I don't know the answer. I don't know why they don't charge an annual fee. I actually think that the Valve guys are great for consumers and great for the industry. I think that they are very much the game equivalent of Amazon. Amazon makes plenty of money, but they don't care about how much they make now. They care about delighting the consumer, make the consumer king, make them feel great, and make the experience effortless, and they'll keep coming back for more business. And I think that's true with Valve. I mean, seriously, I've never heard anybody complain about Valve for anything. I mean, the only complaint I heard was too many SKUs on the Steam box. They just don't screw up because they're a customer-focused company, and I think that giving the customer the best experience possible engenders a ton of loyalty, and in the long term you make a ton of money. So the Valve guys, they're good, but I don't know the answer why they don't charge a multiplayer fee. The right answer though is that they don't think it's necessary and they don't think that's the right thing to do for consumers. From the forums, a question from Eddie. I've always wondered, how much influence does a video game reporter have? The reason I'm asking this is because I want to become one. All right. I think that's hilarious because I'm fine that you become one. That's an admirable profession. I'm not sure what you mean by influence. It's a bad reason to look for a job is because you want to have influence. I'd say with the exception of being a politician or being a teacher. If you're not in either of those professions, then your influence shouldn't make a whole lot of difference. I mean, I don't know. But the answer is that as a community, video game reporters have a tremendous amount of influence. So if we talk about Metacritic scores, that is just the sum of every reviewer of the game. And so in the aggregate, they have a great deal of influence. And if they, in the aggregate, say Grand Theft Auto is a 97 rated game, you can pretty much count on it being the best game you've played this year. And if in the aggregate they say NBA Live is a 49 rated game, you can pretty much count on it being a piece of crap. But do you think that they cause the publishers to behave differently or to create content because they want it? Probably not. And on an individual level, I'd say virtually no influence. There are some influential video game writers, critics out there. My favorite is Jim Sterling, and I think Jim is hilarious because he won't pull punches, and when he doesn't like something, he's very vocal about it. I don't think anybody shivers, thinking, oh my God, I'm going to incur Jim Sterling's wrath, but I think that they would rather not get a crap review. I heard a funny anecdote, I don't know if it's actually true, but Jim gave, I'm totally having a mental block, Gears of War 3. 3? Is it the last one? Gears of War 3?
Judgment was more recent, but I think...
It was 3.
Yeah.
He gave Gears of War 3 like an 80, and the Epic guys were furious. I mean, calling him out by name like, that bastard obviously didn't play our game. Now, that's hilarious, because to me, you don't want to get an 80 if you think you made the best game of all time. But the average score on that game was like a 90, so obviously somebody gave it something lower than a 90 for every guy that gave it something over a 90. And it isn't like Jim gave it a 50, he gave it an 80. But so there are some people, I guess what I'm saying is there are some people who take review scores more seriously than others, and they look at every single one and they just go crazy if one guy doesn't like them. But as far as influence, not very much. Now, if you are Andy McNamara and you're the editor-in-chief of Game Informer magazine, you have a lot of influence because you single-handedly decide what's on the cover of your magazine. And a good example this month, Evolve, I think it's this month, is it? Yeah, that's the issue in which I'm interviewed. by the way. Did you see my interview?
No.
Yeah, there you go. Picture and everything. You can't miss it. Evolve is on the cover. That's really good for a new IP from Take-Two, 2K. Nobody really heard of the game before, and it really just got announced recently. But, it's from the guys who made Left 4 Dead, and it looks really good. And getting a cover story in Game Informer, which has in circulation of like 15 million people, means that 15 million people are going to know about your game, and assuming that it's a good game and the article was favorable, that's 15 million people who may buy your game, which helps sales. So Andy can be incredibly influential because he makes those kind of editorial decisions. But he, it's not like he's out there telling people buy this game or don't buy this game. And he's not random about it. He's obviously putting things on the cover that he thinks gamers will be interested in. But still, he could have picked another game, and so it matters a great deal. If you aspire to be the editor-in-chief at Game Informer, that's actually not a bad thing to be. I'm sure Andy is doing quite well, and he's a very good dude. Thanks for joining us on this week's Pach-Attack. If you have a question, please submit it to the link below, or if you'd like to submit a question to me on Twitter, address it to @MichaelPachter. If you'd like it on the show, add the hashtag AskPach, and we'll try to get to as many of those on the next round of Pach-Attacks as we can.